music. I'm trying to find like fun music. I don't know if I'm going to stick to the same thing all the time or what, but I'm having fun with it. I had to do a little costume change from this morning, not because I'm fancy like that, but because I did go out during the break and got my steps in, and it is roasty toasty here on Cape Cod in Massachusetts, which I am not complaining about. But welcome, you guys. So if you're new around here, happy World Cardmaking Day. I was live earlier today. You can still catch the replay. When I flip my camera, I'll share with you guys the project that I made. If you were with me earlier, all the magic happened. So I'll be sharing that with you guys. And in the earlier live, I did share a little bit of my history, how I became a creative chick full time. I'm not going to go over it again. For those of you that are joining me all day, I don't want you to have to sit through it all over again. But I do just want to point out, I have been doing this since 2001. I've been blogging since 2005. I have been full-time working on my own as my own business since I think it was 8 years now. In November, 8 years. I should have looked that up before break. And I just remembered I didn't look up how many classes I've taught. But anyways, moving on. I had to hydrate. I had to get snacks. I had to get my steps in. There was stuff to do. But what I wanted to point out, yes, I teach a variety of classes online. I also host some really fun events here on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. So in November, I am hosting my Creative Journey Art Retreat. It is a 3-day event here on Cape Cod. We are going to make at least 12 cards. We usually make more. And it's with a variety of brands. And I absolutely love this event. It is near and dear to my heart. I started it several years ago in my 900 square foot apartment in Rhode Island. And it has grown and I just love it. It's literally one of my most favorite things to do throughout the year. So that's coming up in November. It is sold out for November, but stay tuned. You want to make sure you're subscribed to my email newsletter because I have some fun surprises coming up. And also you want to make sure you're subscribed to my email newsletter so you'll know when registration opens for 2026. I also host Crop on the Cape here on Cape Cod. That happens every March. 2026 will be our 27th year. I have not run it for 27 years, but I have been part of it since 2003. So for a very long time. And it started as a traditional crop where everybody just scrapbooked. But now it has morphed into scrapbooking and card making and mixed media and home decor. And some people just come and knit. It is so much fun. You can come and work on your own projects, and you can also sign up for a variety of classes if you would like. So registration for that opens up in November for March of 2026. And then I host my Creative Journey Art Retreat virtually. It's completely different than what I teach in person, meaning totally different projects. And I typically host that in early June, and registration for that opens in February. So lots and lots of fun things are always happening. I wanted to point all of that out because most of my creative chick journey has been very focused on teaching classes. Like I mentioned in my earlier live, I used to travel and teach 25 weekends a year all over North America. And then I used to manage a paper crafting store here on Cape Cod. I would teach 2 to sometimes 3 different classes a week all year long. And then now I teach a ton of classes online. I still do some in person, but mostly online. And because of that, I have not really concentrated on building up my YouTube presence per se, but I just want to let you guys know I do host a monthly live, Get Crackin' on Christmas, working on holiday cards. I do post some pre-recorded videos when I have time, and I love these lives. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love to teach. And I love to be live with you because I don't really love spending a lot of time editing videos. So just make sure you guys are subscribed to my YouTube channel here. And I would absolutely love it if you would give a thumbs up to this video to maybe help some new people find my little old YouTube account. All right. So as I mentioned, I'm going to go quickly through this. For those of you that were with me this morning, just stick with me. But those of you that are new, I do have really fun stuff going on over my website this week. Wednesday, I started celebrating my 20 years of blogging. And to do this, I asked a lot of my crafty friends to peruse my blog, all the years of inspiration I have shared, and to find a project that inspires them and to create their own project. And man, oh man, did they hit it out of the park. I had so much fun looking at everybody's projects. They were just amazing. And they also all know me so well. The things that they picked up on, I was like, yep, that's me. Yep, that's me. So definitely head on over to my website. I have over $800 in giveaways. The giveaways are open until October 6th, 2025. I think I said 11:59 p.m. Eastern time or something like that. Make sure that you follow the rules for the giveaways and enter those before that giveaways end, because I can't wait. It is open worldwide. Most of them are gift cards, so the giveaways are open worldwide. This is World Cardmaking Day, so of course, and I would absolutely love for you to celebrate with me my 20 years of blogging. I also have a lot of really fun online classes this fall. Fall is the busiest time for crafting, and I have jam-packed my schedule with lots of fun classes. I'm actually not traveling and teaching this fall. I usually do at least visit one store. I did go to Paper Craft Clubhouse a couple weeks ago, but I'm not traveling and teaching any Lawn Fawn classes. So I jam-packed my schedule online for you guys. All of my online classes are available at your own pace. So you can take them in little snippets. You can rewatch them. I don't like to say that you have access to them forever because one, we don't really know what's going to happen to me, and two, we don't really know what's going to happen to technology, but you will have access to them for a wicked long time. So Witchy Wishes just launched this week. It's a self-paced Halloween class. I'm teaching Hello Beauty Fall tomorrow live, so you can join me all day crafting tomorrow, or again, you can take it whenever it works for you. I'm so excited. I'm going to be with my East Coast Fawny bestie, Miss Shari. She lives down in North Carolina. We're going to be teaching another Lawn Fawn class together. You guys voted for it. S'more the Merrier is the stamp set that we're going to be featuring, and I cannot wait. It's always so much fun to teach with her. And then I have my mixed media in season class. This is the first time I'm teaching a mixed media online class focused on cards. So we are going to make cards. We're going to make at least 5 cards. And we'll talk a little bit more about that during this live. Spoiler alert, we're going to talk a lot about it. And then I also host free online classes with Lawn Fawn. Kelly Marie joins me on the Lawn Fawn YouTube channel. These are free and open to the public. You do not need to register. There's downloadable handouts with coloring guides and lots of information. You can choose to create along with us, or you can just choose to show up for the crafty chat. My next one is October 9th. I might have a special guest here in the studio with me during that Create With Us. And they are a ton of fun. This will be our 31st free online class. So awesome. So fun. And so, yeah, I would absolutely love for you guys to join me. Most importantly, make sure you guys are subscribed to my email newsletter. I have all of the links in the description of this video. I know that Brianne is here, being the amazing linking ninja. She is so good, so good, so good. All right, so let's go to my desk, and I want to quickly share. Oh, while we're hanging out today, if you are with me live, make sure if you have a question, make sure you put question in all caps, and I'll do my best to answer those. And if I miss it, just ask it again. Brianne is being amazing, and she's linking all of the things in the chat. And then Josie's also here, and I have a visual supply list link in the description of the video. And Josie's, I kind of guessed what I was using because I did not pre-plan my projects. I just kind of had a sense of what I wanted to use. So she's going to help update that visual supply list. So if you're enabled to need anything, that will be updated as well. All right. Okay. So now let's just flip on over to my desk. And this is what I created in my first live today. So you guys can definitely go check out the replay. I will be photographing this. I will share the markers and all of the details over on my blog. Just because I've been blogging for 20 years doesn't mean I'm going to be stopping. But I wanted to show you guys, those of you that were with me earlier, look at the magicalness of the rock candy. Let me just see here. I'm trying to get, oh, hold please, hold please. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to zoom in. I got to show you this rock candy up close, because once it's dry, that is when it is so magical. All right, let's see. But look at it. It's so beautiful. I'm sorry that's not focusing completely. Let's see here. There we go. Technology, you guys, technology. But look at how fun that is. I'm still in love with this leaf border, you guys. Still in love. Okay. So like I mentioned, this project is going to be completely different. We are not using any lawn fawn. So I'm going to set that aside. But what we are going to use, or what I'm going to use, which Brianne probably already saw in the corner, she doesn't need to have a riot. I am going to be using my beloved Distress watercolor pencils. And I love these so much, if you can't already tell by how they look. But I'm also going to be using this stamp set here. So this is an exclusive stamp set from Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. I am so thankful and feel so honored that for my Creative Journey art retreats, Ted at Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz allow me to kind of pick and choose different images from Tim's collection, change the sizes, add them together into my own custom set. So we actually used this set at my in-person event in November 2023. And so this is the set that I am going to be using in my mixed media in season online class. So there are two ways that you can sign up for my mixed media in season online class. You can choose to get the stamp set, and you'll also get a pack of Distress watercolor cardstock, or you can choose to just do the class only, and you can shop your stash of stamps and, you know, work with what you have. Either way will be fine. I will let you know that if you own some of these sets, these images are sized differently than they are in the original sets. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. So I'm going to be working with that set. I did pull some other Tim Holtz sets we'll see where my creative brain goes. I did want to show you guys what I have been doing with my Stampers Anonymous sets is I have been organizing them in these Simon Says Stamp storage envelopes. And these are the 7¼ by 9½, and I have them linked on the visual supply list. But these work great. They fit the Stampers Anonymous sets perfectly. You can see, and I have them in there. And then that way, if you do have little stamp sets and you've weeded the backgrounds of your sets, you don't have to worry about losing them if the cling does kind of go away, which I'm very appreciative of that. So, so I just wanted to point that out. We talked a little bit about organizing, in the earlier session. So I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. Hello, Miss Lisa. Thank you so much for popping in. Lisa also kits for me. I mentioned her in this morning's video when I gave a little recap of me and my business and how it got started. Okay. Hi, Catherine. How are you? Yes, she says, you taught Rose and me to love distress watercolor pencils. I love that so much. And Kathy says she's never used the distress watercolor pencils. I'm glad you're going to demo. Oh, watch out. Janabler alert, Janabler alert. All right, so I do own all 6 sets of the distress watercolor pencils. However, if you're interested in taking my online class, the Mixed Media in Season, I will just say you only need to own 1 set of distress watercolor pencils because Ranger did such a great job with all of their sets that they were able, sorry, I'm trying to fix the focusing. I don't know why this is happening all of a sudden when I haven't touched anything. Give me just a minute, you guys, because I want to, oh, there it goes. So Ranger and Tim did such a good job at each set breaking it up into somewhat of a rainbow. You've got like a pink or a red and an orange and a yellow. So when you take that class with me, you really only need to own 1 set. Now I'll be using all of them because as you can see, I have broken mine up into rainbow order. So I no longer really know what sets go to what, or what pencils go to what set. But when you take the class with me, I will be very clear. I'll basically say, okay, I'm going to use pink saltwater taffy. And then you would just pick whatever pink you have. Okay. The other thing that I was going to mention, oh, distress watercolor pencils. I have 2 online classes, kind of like a part 1 and a part 2. You don't have to take them in order, but I would really recommend that you do because the first one, Distress Techniques, Distress Watercolor Pencils, is really kind of like a good foundation where we go over a lot of like, not the basics, but we kind of get to know the pencils. And then part 2, we dive into a lot more in different techniques. I definitely foresee there'll probably be a part 3 eventually, but I'm trying to spread the love, and there's only so much of this creative chick, right? Hello, Christine. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for the congratulations. And then something else I just remembered, before I went live, I did see the question. I think Lori might have asked it. This is purple, Lori. So this is my purple t-shirt, and I love this purple. I feel like it's like a hydrangea purple. I think it's so, so pretty. So yeah, I had to wear it purple today to butter up my Miss Brienne for helping link up all of the things. Okay, Melissa says she finally got all the sets and put them in rainbow order. I love having them set up this way. Yeah. And I typically keep mine right in the case like this. A lot of the times I'm using a paintbrush and picking up color right from the pencil. And then I was peeling back the paper off of my pencils, but I was having to do it so frequently, it was frustrating me. So what I did is I took my my fingertip X-Acto knife because I have more control the way you can hold it. And I just went and shaved all of the paper off of all of my pencils about halfway because I was like, I'm done. I'm done peeling all of the time because I use these guys so much. I literally use these pencils a ton. Okay. All right, so I have a little bit of an idea in my head. Oh, before we get started, I just want to show you, these are two of the cards that we're going to be creating in my mixed media in-season class. And again, you'll be able to change up the colors if you want to because they're your cards, right? But I absolutely, absolutely love these so, so much. Okay. So I am going to be using Distress watercolor cardstock. It is the only watercolor cardstock that I use. I love it so much. It's a nice bright white. It's smooth on one side, textured on the other. I kind of use the smooth side the most, but when I want that like texture to kind of add to the look of my card, I'll use the textured side. If I'm stamping, I do use the smooth side so that I'll get a really nice clean stamping. Okay. All right. Let me just set aside these storage pockets. It's literally a very messy situation going on over here, guys. Okay, so I am going to be using my custom stamp set, but I was texting with Josie. I kind of pulled a couple Tim Holtz stamp sets that I also love, and so I think I'm going to incorporate them a little bit too as well. So I'm actually going to start with this set right here, this Mixed Media 2. And I love Tim's stamps. And so all the techniques I'm about to share with you guys today will be on red rubber stamps. You can do them on clear stamps, but when I take the pencil and I put it direct to stamp, it just sometimes is a little bit harder for it to cling to a clear stamp. Honestly, the more you use that clear stamp, the better it will. But red rubber just clings like right away. I've got a good old iced coffee. I've got some water. I've got all the things. Okay. I am going to zoom out a little bit. And I think I'm going to keep with a fall theme. We'll see. We'll see. I think I am. I'm feeling very fallish. We went to get pumpkins this morning. Even though it's really warm, I feel like it's time to give in. It's time to give in. It's fall. All right. So I'm going to actually, before I actually use the set, I want to get some color down on here. So what I'm going to do is use this here is just a piece of acetate. You literally could use packaging from a stamp set, whatever you would like. It's just a piece of plastic. You just want to make sure that it's pliable, okay? So I'm going to get some color down here first, and I'm going to start with Tattered Rose, which is a pink. And you see I have my clean cup of water because I just got it, brand new. Cassie says, I thought I knew every Tim Holtz stamp set, but this is new to me and I love it. Janabler alert, Cassie. Janabler alert. So I'm dipping my pencil in the cup of water and rolling the pencil around. So I'm not holding it upright like a pencil. I'm rolling it to really lay that pigment down. And what I'm going to do is just add some color to my background. I find sometimes a white background, especially when you're doing mixed media, can be a little intimidating. So by adding a little bit of color, it's just going to kind of take away that fear of marking up your white paper, right? So I'm just using a distress sprayer to add a little bit more water so it's a bit more fluid. And I'm going to flip this over and just roll and pick up. And you can do this technique with your distress ink pads, distress oxide ink pads. All three of them will give you a different look no matter which one you use. And that's what I love. Different mediums will give you a different look. And so now I'm going to use the Ranger heat tool to just dry this first layer. Now, if you want to get into inky techniques, watercolor techniques, having the Ranger heat tool versus an embossing gun makes all the difference, you guys. It is a diffused heat, so it's spreading the heat out, and it's not going to burn or scorch your paper. It's not going to push the ink away or the medium away. It's going to keep it where it is. And it's really, really an important tool, I feel. I actually now carry it in my online shop because I end up bringing it to my in-person shows so much that I was like, well, I might as well stock it because I am enabling people to need it. It's so different. If I was using an embossing gun, some of this pigment might have blown away, like into a different shape. And holding your embossing gun on your cardstock like this, you have a very good chance of burning your paper. You kind of have to constantly move it around and be aware, and it's, kind of like frustrating. So, and I didn't really notice how important it was to have a heat tool versus an embossing gun until the day my heat tool died. My heat tool I had had over a decade finally died, and I took a little while to reorder a new one, and I was using an embossing gun and doing inky techniques, and I'm like, why is this so hard? And then I realized, oh, it's the embossing gun. It's fighting with me. It's not helping me. So I'm doing a second layer. I just did the same exact thing. I dipped the pencil in the water so the pigment of the Distress watercolor pencil will soften and it's easier to add to the plastic. Distress watercolor pencils are very, very highly pigmented, and they are the difference between them and other watercolor pencils is they aren't in an actual pencil. There's no wood. This is a sticker. There's no wood, so there's a ton of pigment. They're highly pigmented, and they just are amazing. So Shannon hi Shannon. I just had coffee with Shannon on Tuesday. So fun. Shannon was asking, will it still heat emboss? Yes, this will still heat emboss. And I used to use it all the time when I didn't have my embossing gun plugged in. It just takes a little bit longer, Shannon, to heat emboss than what you're maybe used to with your embossing gun. And Tess says it's in her top 3 of Genabled purchases. Whoa, that's saying a lot there, right there, Tess. So again, we're just getting some color down on this watercolor cardstock just to kind of take the fear out of putting something on the page, right? I feel like I might have learned that from Dina Wakely. If you've ever done a class with Dina Wakely, she is so amazing. And, she kind of just teaches that, I think, with her art journaling. Like, just put something down. You can always cover it. You can always build on it. But just to get started, just do it, right? Just do it. So I'm just going to use my flour sackcloth and wipe whatever pigment's left on my plastic. And I actually have like a whole little pocket folder of these pieces of plastic because it's a technique that I use a lot. Now, it's very common that your paper is going to warp when you're doing anything with water, but you see me. I'm just kind of gently bending it the opposite way so it'll somewhat lay flat again. Totally fine. Okay. All right, so now let's go back into stamping. I was like, I just needed to add a little something. So I'm going to use this stamp right here. And I literally have no idea what my color palette is going to be. So I'm gonna stick kind of neutral. So let's see, I'm torn between antique linen and pumice stone. I think I'm going to do antique linen because, again, this is still the early stages and I want it to be fairly faint. I don't want to, hopefully we're going to do a lot of fun stuff and I don't want to overpower it right in the beginning. Corinna said, it's been on my to-do buy list for years. I guess I should do something about that. Yes, as many classes as you take with me, you should have a Ranger heat tool for sure. So I am dipping the pencil in the water to soften the pigment. If your distress watercolor pencils are brand new, you may need to really hold yours in the water a little bit longer. Mine are very loved. That's like almost like they know they're ready. They know exactly what I want them to do. So it doesn't take as long to soften them. And again, I'm using the side of the pencil. I'm not holding it up like a pencil to write. I'm using the side and I'm just rolling that pigment onto the red rubber. And if you were doing this with a clear stamp, again, it can be done. I've shared videos and reels and all kinds of stuff doing similar techniques with clear stamps. You just really have to work it to get that pigment to stay on the clear stamp. It's just takes a little bit more work, okay? So I am going to hold this just with my hand because I actually want to stamp it down so that it's not perfect. I don't necessarily want it to come out perfectly. And I got a couple stamps out of that. And now I'm going to take my distress sprayer and about, 10-ish inches away, I'm going to mist. And then we're going to stamp again. Denise says, late to the party, but here finally. Happy card making day and happy blogversary. Thank you. Yeah, my pencils are trained. I wanted to mention during the break, a few of you were sharing in my Creative Chick Studio Share Facebook group what you were creating during the first live. And I love it. One of them had a little bit something to do on trend with what I was doing. And one of them didn't, but I absolutely loved seeing both of those projects. So feel free to share in my Facebook group or tag me today if you're inspired to create. And again, it doesn't have to be exactly what I'm creating. Now, something else that I typically do with my distress watercolor pencils is I'm going to kind of contradict myself a little bit. I don't heat set things very often. Now, I did those those two first layers, because I'm live. If I was working on my own pace, I would have done one of those layers with the acetate, the pigment smooshing, and then I would have set it aside to work on some other elements for my card. And then I would have come back to it. And the reason why is because when you let these pencils dry on their own, all the little pools and puddles and veins and yumminess of this medium will really shine. But when you speed up the process of drying, you sometimes lose that. So I'm going to actually set this aside to dry. This is kind of our background. We'll keep working on it. And I'm going to grab another piece of distress watercolor cardstock. Okay. And you know what's funny is I actually just was listening in my, do you guys do this? Do you talk out loud but listen in your head of something you previously said? Anyways, don't ask. I was just thinking about how I said we're not using Lawn Fawn this time, but I kind of lied. I am going to use a little bit of Lawn Fawn in this class. You'll see why. Hello, Jana. I'm glad you came out of lurking to say hello. Nice to meet you. Hello, Lisa. Yay, Brienne's letting us know the Bruins won. Woohoo! Thank you, Miss Brienne. Okay, So on this piece, I am going to go ahead and stamp out some elements, okay? And for this part, I am going to grab an acrylic block, and I'm going to just start with a few different elements. So my stamp set is not indexed. I kind of get like a test set early so I can start creating my projects. So yeah, so that's why I'm going to keep it flipped like this. But this is a really cute collect ticket. I'm sure Tim loves that I'm calling it cute, but I love like all the little ephemera stamps that he has. I pulled a couple other sets. We'll see if I pull any of these elements in, but Tidbits has like so many different ephemera images, mail art, and then this one's a favorite of mine, Field Notes. So I love all of these because you can just use them on any styled project. Like they just work. Okay, so I am going to, I'm trying to think of my color palette. I had an idea of my color palette this morning, but I don't have an idea of my color palette now. So I'm going to take a brown, I'm going to take frayed burlap, and we're going to, again, roll the pencil right on the stamp. Let me know in the chat if you guys have already signed up for my mixed media in-season online class. I am so excited for it. It's going to be in early November. I don't really remember the date. Now, if you stamp it the first time and it's like too blobby, just trust the process. Let it be. I'm going to stamp it a second time. Before I stamp it a third time, I'm going to mist it. The Distress Sprayer will do a really fine mist, and it'll also do water droplets, which we'll talk about in a little bit too. Stamp it again, stamp it again, stamp it again. All of these are yummy and can be used, okay? And I'm not specifically looking to be able to read the stamp. We're going to make some elements for texture, okay? So now that we have that done, I've got this little type slide die, stamp, I almost said die, on my exclusive set. And for this one, I'm going to use pumice stone, which is like a brownish gray. We're going to add some of that pigment. And you can see how it's like pooled up on the stamp, okay? Then I'm going to stamp, stamp, stamp. I'm going to mist. I don't know if I'm going to get anything out of the mist, but I'm going to mist. Mist will reactivate that pigment. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. I have not, but I definitely will. Thanks, Carrie. Yay. Annette has signed up. I love it. Susan's signed up. Awesome. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. She signed up today. So Denise is asking, is the mixed media class the same one as the live one at Papercraft Clubhouse? Yes, Denise. And check your handout. Hopefully you have emailed me. I have not emailed anybody back from Papercraft Clubhouse, but check your handout. That's all I'm going to say about that. Jackie says, mixed media, here I come. I love that. All right, I'm going to use ground espresso and this little oval stamp. Nora says, Janebled for all the classes. Thank you, Nora. All right, we're going to stamp it. Stamp it. Stamp it. I'm going to try one more without misting. It's all just play. It's all just creative play. And that's what one thing I love, love, love about mixed media. Okay, well, I'm going to grab, let's see here. Out of the Field Notes stamp set, I am going to stamp, I'm trying to just think of shapes. I would like to do this circle. Okay, and I'm right now just trying to do pretty much all neutral colors, all right? So I'm going to bring in milled lavender, which to me is pretty neutral because it is so light in color. Because in my brain, these elements are going to kind of be the part of the background. They're not going to be the focal point. So that's why I'm kind of thinking what I'm thinking on the colors. I'm trying to explain it out loud, how my brain works, which can be also very, very weird. Okay, so we're going to stamp. Ooh, yeah, milled lavender for the win. I'm going to get some more distressed watercolor cardstock. And remember, I'm stamping on the smooth side. Not that I expect to read any of these words, but I do want a lot of the detail. Well, I want some of the detail to shine through. Okay. Yay. Oh, awesome. Janet says, I'm signed up. Can't wait. Yuko enabled me again. I love that. Yuko is so sweet. Now, Janet, are you Yuka's friend that I met in, I think, Canada? You'll have to remind me. So which color was it that you started with on the background? I used Tattered Rose, and then I used Antique Linen on this background. Okay, now I'm going to grab one more element. Let's see. This is where that collect ticket is. So see, this collect ticket is larger than the one on my stamp set. So that's what I love is like, these are, it's just a fun way. If you love Tim Holtz stamp sets, it's a fun way to kind of get like an exclusive set, right? Who doesn't like exclusive? Okay, I'm just making sure. Yep. Oh, Janet says, I am in Canada, but we haven't met yet. Okay. I feel like one of Yuko's friends came up to me and I thought it was in Canada. I don't know. Okay. So now I'm going to stamp this cute little label. And again, I'm going to kind of keep it somewhat neutral. Maybe I'm going to do some weathered wood. And I'm going to go ahead and just rub that pencil on the stamp. And then we'll go ahead and stamp this. Now I love to do the labels because now we can actually fill in the labels, right? I'm going to just do a couple more because you never know what you're going to use. I'm not going to end up using all of these, but you never know what you're going to use. Okay. So on my stamp set, I have like this number 05713. Tim has a love for typography and numbers, and I do too. So I'm gonna take some tea dye, which is a brown. And I'm gonna stamp this in the label. And I'm purposely going low on one, in the middle on another. We'll see how we're gonna end up using it, if it's overlapped at all. And then I have this little like number 1, number 2, number 3 in my set. And I'm going to go ahead and grab, I already did ground espresso. Let's grab vintage photo. Now I know that this one, just again from practice and using it, is pretty blobby the first couple times I stamp with it. So I'm going to actually just free stamp it. And then I'm going to go stamp it on the edge of the label like that. Okay. All right. So that's it for elements that we're going to do. Still don't really know what I'm doing, but that's okay. I got ideas brewing. So I'm going to set these aside to dry. And again, letting them dry naturally all of these pools of pigment are going to just look so much yummier than using the heat tool. Okay. All right. I'm going to set this stamp set aside. And now this is where I kind of lied. I am going to use a little Lawn Fawn. So Lawn Fawn has these stitched leaf dies, and we talked about this a little bit in my earlier live. The rainbow binders that you see behind me are all of my Lawn Fawn standalone dies. I keep them in binders and I label them with a little tag. And then they're in these Velcro pockets. And these are the Lawn Fawn magnetic boards. They're very, very heavy. And I linked all of this in my visual supply list, which is linked in the caption of the video. And I'm sure Brienne's going to link all of the things. But I keep everything that's a standalone die from Lawn Fawn in here. And this is what I wanted. Lawn Fawn has these amazing stitched leaves. They also have stitched pumpkins and stitched gourds, which all of these look so beautiful watercolored. If you just go to my website, talk about blogging so long. If you just search distress watercolor pencils, you're going to see so much inspiration, you guys. I have shared so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to die cut some leaves. We're going to do a big oak leaf. Now, I also see that my focus is going in and out, and I apologize. I don't know why. And I don't want to keep fiddling with it and have something happen to my live stream. So I realize it's frustrating. I don't feel like you're missing anything because we're not doing major detailed work. But I will, when I am showing you something close up, I will do my best to try to get it to focus, okay? So I'm just taking a bunch of these leaves. So they have stitched leaves and small stitched leaves. And I actually think I have like 2 sets of both because I've used them in classes so much that I wanted more to help kit faster. This was back in the day, Miss Brienne, when I used to kit for my classes, and Miss Lisa, if you're still here. Okay, so I'm just grabbing a bunch of the leaves. I don't really know exactly which ones I'm going to use, but you know what? I'm going to actually die cut out of the textured side. I'm going to get wild and crazy, you guys. It's World Cardmaking Day, only once a year. Let's get wild and crazy. And I'm just using some Spellbinders Best Ever craft tape to hold my dies in place. This is all very loved, used Best Ever craft tape. I utilize my pieces over and over and over again until they can't be used anymore. Hello, Miss Kathy. Thank you. She says, I love all the Distress watercolor pencils. I have them in rainbow order. I took Jen's suggestion and took a lot of the paper off. That honestly, it just will save you time in the end. It'll just save you time in the end. And Denise says, anyone on the fence about the mixed media in season, roll on to the do it side because you won't regret it. She did it live at Papercraft Clubhouse and it was amazing. Thank you so much, Denise. Thank you, thank you. All right, so off camera, I am just going to die cut these leaves in the Distress watercolor cardstock. I don't have a fancy die cut cam like our friend Kathy Zielski, but maybe someday, maybe. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna toss these dies aside. We'll pick up after, right? Pick up after. And I love that even though Lawn Fawn is, we know, a very whimsical company, right? These dies are going to work for any style of card, depending how you use them and what you use them with, right? Love it. Yay, Brenda says, I just ordered set 6 and then I'll have them all. Congratulations, Miss Brenda. And Denise says, by the way, I'm a type A crafter and getting a little messy was actually fun, right? I think if you're type A, if you have somebody guiding you, it might be a little less scary, right? And it'll be even less scary doing it in the comforts of your home too, I think. Okay. So we've got all of these leaves and I want to add color to them. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and we'll see if that helps a little bit with the focusing. I don't think I had focusing problems even this morning, so I don't know what's going on, you guys. I will say, part of being your own business is it's hard to figure out everything, right? I love to teach, but to figure out all the technology and everything is hard. It's hard work. All right, so now I'm going to use a paintbrush, okay? And just a round paintbrush, nothing fancy. And we're going to start to add color to these leaves. So I'm starting with brown. I'm going to start with a little walnut stain, and I'm going to kind of just add a little bit all over this oak leaf. Okay. Just like so. And then, and again, this is going to be our base color on all of these leaves. So I'm going to stay pretty neutral as well. So here I'm going to add some tea dye. Okay. On this leaf right here, I'm going to basically try to not, use all the same colors we used for the collage stamping, but here's milled lavender. Okay. Then we've got this little guy here. I'm going to use tattered rose, which is a pink. Okay. Then we have this larger oak leaf. Let's see. I'm going to do antique linen all over. And again, if you aren't getting enough color on your brush, if your pencils are new, brushing your paintbrush to the tip of the pencil, you might just need to like juice it up more with water. It might not work right away if your pencils are new. Okay. And then the last one, our last leaf that I cut, I'm going to do some Victorian velvet. And because my pencils are living all together as they are, sometimes, when I'm picking up this Victorian velvet, I might get a little touch of whatever pencils are next to it. And that's okay. Those are happy accidents. And I don't let sweat the small stuff like that. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and just move these aside because I have a lot of water on my table from watercoloring them. And I want to just move these guys aside because sitting in water, they're not going to dry. But if I just wipe this away, they're going to dry a lot faster. Okay. We'll just bring them back. And some of them are already dry, right? So we'll start with this little leaf here. And I think I had done milled lavender first on here. Let me know in the chat if you guys have had the luckiness of experiencing fall foliage. Okay. Let me know if you've seen fall foliage in real life, whether you took a trip or you're lucky enough to live where there's fall foliage. But basically, what I'm going to do now is using my knowledge of fall foliage, I am going to make some hopefully realistic-ish leaves, okay? So like I said, I started with milled lavender here. And in order to do fall foliage, I definitely got to make sure my greens and oranges and yellows are around. Okay, so I am going to start. And when I start, I wanted a base color to, again, just take away that fear of having a white leaf and just kind of get started. But now, as I start to build up different colors, I am going to want to try to start with the lightest color. So here I'm starting with some mustard seed. And I'm just going to kind of dab it on. Distress watercolor pencils are translucent. So they, I will start to still see some of my undercolor a little bit, which I love. And now I'm going to take some wild honey. Start to dab this on. And I'm going to work my way around the leaves and then come back to the leaves because I want some of these layers to dry a little bit and I want them to dry naturally. Okay. All right. This guy here, I am going to actually grab some abandoned coral, which is somewhat of a red, you guys. So mark this down in the history books. It's a pinky red though, so that's why I'm okay with it. You can see I'm just like kind of tapping it on. I'm not even really painting per se. I'm just kind of boop, boop, boop. This is a bigger leaf, so I'm going to kind of do it in a couple different areas. So I live in Massachusetts now, but I grew up in New Hampshire. So I feel very lucky that I got to experience a lot of fall foliage in my lifetime. Let's see. Oh yeah. Gorgeous in Denver now. Lots of leaf color in Michigan. Awesome. Yay. Robin says this former New Englander misses the beauty of fall. Indiana has fall leaves, but it isn't as glorious as New England. Robin, I think you need to just come back to New England. Wouldn't that be so cool? All right, for this one, I'm actually going to go in with a brown. I think this might be frayed burlap. If I don't look at the labels of the browns, sometimes I don't know them. Don't tell Tim on me. Let's see, is this frayed burlap? Phew, I can still keep my distress junkie badge. Sometimes the browns, I gotta look at the labels. I'm glad. I actually, I mean, Tim loves his brown, but I actually have to say, I love that we have a good variety of browns because I utilize them a lot. All right, I'm going to grab some scattered straw, which is kind of a yellowy color. Okay. And then on this one here, I'm going to grab actually some saltwater taffy. Cape Cod gets a little bit of foliage, nothing like what I grew up with in New Hampshire. Because of the salt air and our temperatures and stuff, it's a little bit different. But last fall, we had some really beautiful color. I was very impressed. All right, so now I'm going to kind of go back to my original leaf and start to just dab on some other colors. So this one, I remember I had done mustard seed. So now I'm going to actually grab something a little bit darker. I'm going to grab a dark orange, rusty hinge. Okay. And just know if your original color's still wet, you might get some, blending together when you go near each other, but that's okay. There's nothing, you can even overlap a little bit. You can clean your paintbrush. Make sure it's not that wet. I usually tap it to the back of my hand and kind of dab in between those colors to get things to blend a little bit. Okay. And then maybe let's grab maybe some fossilized amber. We'll add that in too. Look how pretty that is. Love it. I honestly could paint leaves all the time. I love this. I think this is so fun and magical. All right, so for this leaf here, let's grab a little lumberjack plaid. Look at this red. Right? And you can kind of leave some gaps so your original color will show too. But it's all about creative play. And I do think maybe because I'm a part-time mermaid, I just love playing with water. I just love watching like what it's going to do, how it's going to react. I've just grabbed some abandoned coral, kind of add it in here. And I feel like I started with wild honey on here. I'm going to go back in and just kind of add some more wild honey. Right? We'll set that one aside. Janet says, I saw lots of leaves that look like that this morning, right? All right, for this guy here, I'm going to actually grab a little bit of green. This leaf is going to hold on to summer a little bit. It's not going to win the fight, but we'll have a little bit of green in here. So this is some peeled paint, right? And I'm not thinking much about it. I'm just slapping color down. I'm not putting a lot of thought on where I'm going or anything. I don't care about a light source or anything like that. And then for this one, I'm going to grab a little bit of purple. I'm going to grab some seedless preserves. And this is like the magical fall color, I feel. So, so pretty. Right? I'm going to kind of add some to the tips here. Again, I'm cleaning my brush, making sure there's not a lot of water. So I like to touch it to the back of my hand because your sense of touch is going to tell you a whole lot more about what's on your paintbrush more than your eyesight. So by touching it, I can feel how wet or dry my paintbrush is. I do like to use a paintbrush and not a water brush, meaning a paintbrush with water in it, because I just feel like you have a lot more control. But look at these, you guys. I'm just kind of setting them aside a little bit just to get them out of their pools of water and pigment, so they will start to dry. Let's see. I missed what Brienne said. I missed it. Did she say something about purple? Oh no, take me with you, Robin. Wait, where are you taking? Where's Robin going? Maybe to New England. Are you guys coming? Let's go. Let's go. Okay, everybody's invited to New England. Come to one of my events. All right, so this guy right here, I'm actually going to grab some aged mahogany, which is like a deep maroon color. Let's see what this looks like. Oh yeah. Okay. So see, this isn't scary. This is just fun. Let's just do 5 hours of coloring leaves together. And now I'm going to grab some scorched timber. Now, if you guys have been buying your distress watercolor pencils by the set, scorched timber didn't fit into any of the sets because of the picket fence white distress watercolor pencil, which you'll notice I do not have the white in my tins. I keep it aside because I honestly don't use it. But you want to make sure you order yourself the scorched timber pencil. It comes on its own because it is like a magical brown. It sometimes pulls brown. It sometimes pulls orange. It sometimes has like a reddish color to it. It's like literally magic. So you need to own scorched timber. If you have all of the sets, especially, you've got to treat yourself to scorched timber. So make sure, Janabler alert, I'm forcing you to buy the single distress watercolor pencil. Okay. So now this guy here, I think I had done like a pink. maybe I did saltwater taffy on this one. So I'm actually going to add some more saltwater taffy. Kind of build up that color. And I'm going to grab some Victorian velvet. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to actually just kind of blend this so that we have some of that light color still there. Just like that. All right, one more leaf. I feel like this was scattered straw-ish. I'm going to actually grab some Dusty Concord, which is a purple. Okay. And then I'll grab a little bit more scattered straw. Just kind of dab it on those edges. Just kind of build up. I'm going to keep some light too. And I think we're going to leave that one. Oh my gosh, I love these guys. All right. So we are going to let these all dry naturally, which most of them are almost dry. So I'm going to set them aside. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to grab those elements that we stamped earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and cut some of those out. So I have actually a lot of Tim Holtz cards to share with you guys. Brienne has been helping me catch up on blogging. And so I have lots of Halloween I'm going to be sharing this month because I got behind in sharing all the fun Halloween projects that I've made. But I will just mention some of the Tim Holtz sets now have coordinating dies. Simon Says Stamp is selling those coordinating dies exclusively. So that is very, very cool. Although I will say what I'm cutting out now is so easy. We're just cutting out rectangles and circles. So it's going to be okay. So I'm going to cut out, you know, basically one of each of these. I'm kind of just looking at how they dried. It doesn't mean I'm not going to use these other ones on another project. It just means I'm picking one for today. And I don't know why I'm picking the one that I'm picking. I'm just doing it. Again, not stressing about it too much. Let's see. Susan says, I miss the ocean and the fall leaves. I do not miss raking all the leaves. That's what Chris does for me. That is my boyfriend. Danielle says, I never thought I'd say it, but I do miss the 4 seasons. Yeah. And our winters have gotten a lot more mild here on the Cape. So it's not too bad. I was actually just talking to Shannon about it when we had coffee on Tuesday. She is visiting the Cape from California. And her mom have been visiting the Cape for years and years and years. She actually used to take classes with me at the store I managed here. And so I was like, you guys just need to move here. Shannon just retired, and I'm like, you just need to move here. Sorry, Shannon, for telling your whole life story, but you love the Cape so much. You should just live here. And the really, really crappy days, just don't leave your house. It's all good. There's not that many of them. Let's see. Oh boy, what's Melissa adding to cart? I missed that too. I feel like I'm missing all the chat this time. I was too busy having too much fun with my fall leaves. I was having a lot of fun with my fall leaves. Okay. So now I'm cutting out these little ovals, or just one little oval. Okay. And then we'll cut out a type slide. This little rectangle. This is all going to make sense, you guys. It's all going to make sense. All right. Let me know in the chat if you're hanging out with me tomorrow during my class. I can't wait. I'm teaching my Hello Beautiful online class. Of course, if you can't make it with me live, you can take it anytime. Super fun. All right, so I'm cutting out a couple of these labels. And then I think that's all we're going to cut out. All right, then what I'm going to use next is my secret weapon. And my secret weapon is not so secret, but it is a tool that I have had for a long time, like 15 years, a long time. I am using the Tim Holtz Tonic Paper Distresser. And what it does is it'll rough up the cardstock, but you have to get some aggression out. So all the notches are the same. And I just put my paper in there and really rub back and forth. You want to support the cardstock with your hand that isn't holding the paper distresser. So for me, it's my left hand. And then I'm just like literally going back and forth. Okay. And I'm going to choose to do this on some of them, but I'm not going to do it on all of them. And do I have a reason why I'm choosing some and the other? Nope. I just want some to have this texture and some not. Yay, a bunch of you guys will be there with me tomorrow. I'm so excited. I have so much fun. All right. So now that I did that on a few of these, we are going to start to bring this project together. So let me just move all my little paper fuzz out of the way. And we've got our background here, all right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trim my background down to be 4 by 5 1/4. It's just something that I like to do. I like to just have this nice little white border or ink blended border if we wanted that. It also, when I trim it down or use Lawn Fawn's outside in stitched rectangle, it forces me to get my cards on card bases. If you're new to me, I have a problem with getting my cards on card bases. So I have lots and lots and lots of card fronts. And Josie helps me by getting, I sell some of my cards in my online shop, in my Cards for Charity section. All of the money is donated to my local animal shelter, and Josie helps me get them all ready to go. And she loves when I actually put them on card bases because then she doesn't have to do it. Now we could actually, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to rough this up too. And you can choose to like rough it up in certain places and not in others. And I think I'm going to kind of do that this time. Okay. Right. Love that. And then now what I want to do is part of my exclusive set is I have this really fun splatter stamp. So if you don't like to splatter on your own, this is like your golden stamp here. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of splatter stamping. I'm still going to use my Distress watercolor pencils directly to my stamp. Now, I could use Distress inks or Distress oxides, but yeah, I want to use my Distress watercolor pencils. So I think I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use walnut stain. Thank you, Miss Josie and Miss Brienne, for linking all of the things. Brienne says that tool has been getting a lot of love lately. Does that mean you've seen it a lot in the blog post you've been helping me with, Brienne, or have you actually been using it? I hope it's you've been using it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to stamp this off first because I want to make sure that it is nice and faint. And one thing you want to keep in mind is stamp off the edge, turn your stamp after each stamping. You also can mist it to get a little bit of water. And let's see, I'm trying to decide. I kind of feel like I want to kind of concentrate it. I'll do one more. Okay. And now the next thing that I want to do, and if you guys have any leftover pigment from your pencils on your stamp, I just spritz it with water and wipe it with my flour sackcloth. You're not harming your stamps at all. They will work perfectly next time you want to use them. But next, what I'm going to do is I want to kind of break these splatters up a little bit. So I am going to use my dirty water, which I love, might be because I live near Boston. And I'm going to use my paintbrush and I'm going to splatter some water droplets. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to react with the pencils. Similarly to how we're used to distress inks reacting, but this is just going to kind of break things up, make it look a little less uniformed. Okay. Just like that. And I'm going to now kind of let this dry. See all that water? You can see that on camera really well. I'm going to set that aside a minute. And now I'm going to bring my pencils. I'm going to bring my leaves back in. They're pretty dry. Okay. And I want to add some splatters to these leaves to add a little texture. So what I'm going to do is actually use the Distress watercolor pencils. I'm going to use, and I'm just, me thinking about what I'm going to use is really just me like, there's so many fun options. I don't know what to use. There's no right or wrong. But I'm going to use walnut stain again. And when you want to splatter with your pencils, I just want to make sure I get the tip of my paintbrush nice and juicy. So I'm making sure I get water and pigment, and I'm holding it horizontal over my leaves, and I'm just tapping. Could we stamp the splatter stamp on our leaves? Of course we could. Yep. But I kind of want to have a little bit of a different look than what I did on the background. Okay. Now for these and the background, I am going to do a little bit of heat tool. If I was not live, I would let things dry naturally, but for the sake of not keeping you guys too much longer, we're going to dry. Now, when you are drying things with your heat tool, your Ranger heat tool, lift it up off your table so that the heat will go through your cardstock, bounce off the table, and also heat from the back. So make sure you're doing that instead of keeping it flat. It'll help things dry faster. Thank you, guys. Yay. Catherine just got back from a power walk. I love it. I did that in between my lives. Oh, Brienne says no. The paper distresser's been in a lot of my posts lately. Her craft supplies don't see too much action these days. You've made some beautiful cards lately, Miss Brienne. All right, I'm going to get these dry, and then we are going to start to assemble. All right. I feel like I have a little pocket of water right here, so I'm just going to pick it up with my flour sackcloth. But look how yummy that looks. Now that I added those water droplets, it really like broke up the splatters and made it look even less like a stamp, right? It looks a little bit more natural, okay? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to start with my collage elements, I guess is what I can call them. And I'm going to kind of figure out where I want them to go. This is why I kind of stamped the number down low like this, because I thought this could hang, right? And then we've got this, go like that. And we're really just kind of thinking about where we want to layer things. I'm thinking about clustering things together so they're touching. And I really like the way that looks because eventually we're going to add the leaves too. And I don't even really know how I'm going to do that yet. But I am going to just start to adhere things. Now, because this is distress watercolor cardstock, I like to use the Distress Collage medium because this is a little bit of a heavier weight. I also love to use my tiny attacher, and this is old school, but I love it. So I'm going to also tiny attach some of these elements. Now, this is just a stapler, but it's more than just a stapler. It's really strong, and it has a fairly long reach. It can go in, and it does like the mini staples. So I'm just doing some little X's just to kind of make it not look so plain. And then I'm gonna staple these guys together. Like that. And again, it just adds some really nice texture to your cards, not just, you know, it's not just functioning as adhesive. All right, so now I'm going to start to add this on, and I'm going to be fairly generous with my Distress Collage medium because we've got a lot of thicknesses going on. And as I'm laying stuff, I will put my acrylic block down just to hold things, weight it down as that glue dries. Okay. This is the same adhesive I used in the last live that attached my rock candy, the Distress Collage medium. Put another block there. Got a little oval left. Actually, we'll put that up here this time. Okay. So now we're going to start to add our leaves. And I actually think I'm going to pop up my leaves. So I'm going to just start by adding some foam squares to the backs of these guys. But I do want to kind of keep my foam squares like more centralized, so I will be able to overlap easily. So I don't want any foam squares on the edges, I guess is what I'm getting at. Okay. Shannon says, I love old school. Me too. Yeah, tiny attacher for the win. See, again, I use the same supplies over and over and over and over. This is why I'm really sad about some of Lawn Fawn stuff being discontinued. It's like, no, they're my friends. Okay. So now I am going to go ahead and start to figure out where we want these. This is like popping up. I'm going to figure out kind of how we're going to attach things, right? Kind of do this one, and maybe this one, and then maybe this will go up here. Oh, look, we are going to be able to use all. I wasn't sure. I mean, I'm not forcing it. If it was too much, I definitely wouldn't do it. Although did we talk? I think we talked this morning. Like, I don't do clean and simple. So some people might see my cards and think they're always too much. But if I felt like it was too congested, I wouldn't do it just to use these leaves. I would just use these leaves on another project, whatever ones I couldn't use today. So this is why I wanted to make sure my foam squares weren't on the edges. This way I'm able to overlap things. trying to make the oak leaves kind of all go different ways so that they have appeal to the eye a little bit better. And we've got one more little guy here. Right? How fun, right? And last but not least, well, two quick things. One, I want to put a sentiment. And my exclusive set that you guys are getting in class does come with some really fun sentiments. But I also wanted to point out the tiny text stamp set from Tim is like, I use this so much, if you can't tell. I use it as a background. I use it as individual sentiments. They look great white embossed on dark cardstock. They're just the perfect like sentiment to just send to a friend for some encouragement, right? So I think, let's see. I'm looking. I think I'm just going to do hello friend today. We'll keep it real simple. And for this, I'm going to try to get a crisp sentiment out of distressed watercolor pencils. We'll see. If it doesn't work, then I will stamp it with VersaFine. So let's, I'm going to do black soot. So it is still black, but let's see what we can do here. It's going to be blobby at first, but if I keep stamping it, I have a feeling I can get one that's legible. We'll see. Oh, we're getting there. I actually like that second to last one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors and I'm just going to cut this out into a rectangle, something I like to call word fetty. I like to use my scissors so it isn't perfect, has a little bit of whimsy to it and an organic feel. Okay. And I'm going to grab a foam strip. I don't really know where I'm putting it yet, but you know, it's going to need a foam strip. You know what I want to do real quick? I am going to ink the edges with a black ink just to help it stand out. This is old school too. I guess I'm showing my 20-year age. Oh, I kind of just went a little too dark. Let's see here. I don't know. Can we still read this as hello friend, you guys? Thank you, Mary. Oh, thank you, Shannon. Tess says, wait, did we just get a hint? A hint about what? What did I just hint? Heather says, oh dear, I think I've built a fort of craft supplies around me. Same, Heather, same. I've got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit of Distress Collage Medium just to reinforce the adhesive. We're going to add this here, and then I'm going to grab a card base because I want to make Josie proud that both of my cards on World Cardmaking Day are going to make it onto card bases. And I think it'll look really nice actually with that white border. So look, oh yeah, I love it. This is all still very wet, so I'm just gonna add my runner to my card base. Normally I don't do it like this, but I can't really flip my card around. It's gonna take some time to dry. I also am going to add some rock candy. I know you guys are not surprised by this, but let's go ahead and get this on. Let me go the other way. Oh, look at all the smudges. All the smudges. Okay. There we go. Sticking it down. Everything's still very wet and moving. So I'm just trying to be careful. Okay. Oh my gosh, I love it. I just have some Collage medium that's squeezed out, and I just want to get that cleaned up before I get to the rock candy phase. All right, like I said in the earlier session, I keep my distress rock candy in a glitter storage container, and I'm going to just use my Distress Collage medium on the tips of some of my leaves. Okay, just here and there. I love to glitter all of the things, but I like to glitter in moderation. Just a little bit of sparkle here and there. With Distress Rock Candy, I like to use a spoon. So I'm going to just add it. But because I'm using my glitter storage container, I've got a lot of space to dump that glitter right back in, and there's no mess. It's not going anywhere but in the container. And it's not going to look magical until it dries. You can see there's a lot of white because the Distress Collage medium needs to dry. But like on this card here, I used rock candy on the moth and on the wings, and it just adds a lot. And I love to use different glitters for different reasons. And I find myself pulling the Distress Rock Candy when I am glittering things of nature. Okay. So same thing here. I wanted to add the rock candy to the leaves that we did earlier today, but I used Lawn Fawn Prisma glitter on my scarecrows. All right. Yay. Thank you. I know 2 card bases in one day, Rachel. I think I deserve a treat. I think I deserve a treat. Josie says, hee, yay for card bases. So let me know if I missed any questions. I really, really, really hope that you guys will sign up to join me for my mixed media in season online class. Again, it's in early November is when I'll teach it live, but you will have access to take it whenever you would like, whenever it works into your schedule. I have a lot of people that will do it at their own pace, and they'll do just like 10 minutes one night and a half an hour another night. Sometimes when you have had a week, right, and we all have those weeks, it's nice to just have something in the queue that you can just bring up and have somebody guide you along the way. You don't have to put too much thought into things. And I don't mean like I don't want you to be creative and think on your own, but I will be there to guide you where you can be creative and just have that me time and that creative time to maybe wipe out the week you had. Does that make sense? Hopefully that does make sense. Make sure you guys all go over to my website. If you're watching this before October 6th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, I am celebrating my 20 years of blogging, and I have over $800 in mostly gift cards available to share with you guys. So these are open worldwide. Make sure you go over to my blog post and read how to enter the giveaway. There's no purchase necessary. It was just kind of my way to say thank you. Maybe you've been with me all 20 years and maybe you just discovered me today. I really, really hope that you will join this creative chick community I've built up over the years. I absolutely love to inspire you and teach you, maybe get you out of your comfort zone a little bit, but most importantly, to help inspire you guys to use your supplies. So as always, with all of my online classes, or even today, if you were creating along, I want you to use your stash. I love, love, love to enable you, but I also really love when you go dig in your stash and use what you have in a different way. All right, you guys, Thank you so much for joining me. Happy World Card Making Day. If you are creating along with me today, make sure you tag me in what you created. I know a bunch of people started to tag me in posts because they were wearing some of my crafty gear. I love that. I always love to see your smiling faces. It makes me so happy. Let's see, for some reason my comments are not scrolling. So I just want to make sure I'm not missing any last minute questions. Miss Brienne and Miss Josie, thank you so much for spending a good chunk of your day with me and linking all of the things and doing all of the things behind the scenes. Josie was updating the visual supply list, which is linked in the caption, so you guys can go shopping if you want to. Thank you, Carrie. She says, I super appreciate you. Well, I super appreciate all of you guys. Make sure you're subscribed to my video. I always love when you share my links to other crafty friends. It's really helpful for the little guy when you guys share about how much fun you're having with me, because that helps spread my information to everybody, and I really appreciate it. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your Saturday. I'll see some of you guys tomorrow in class, and have an amazing day. Bye.